For thousands of years, humans have been offering up their bodies to the altar of conflict, generation after generation, putting themselves in harm's way, mostly through war. And whether they knew it or not, every wound, every injury was a revelation. Because when the body breaks, it opens. And when it opens, we see what's inside. But for most of human history, we didn't understand what we were looking at. The heart, the brain, the lungs, they were mysteries wrapped in blood. It wasn't until the last 500 years that human awareness turned inward. We began to investigate, not just how we die, but how we live. Anatomy became inquiry. Curiosity met cadaver. And then came the Civil War. It was the largest unintentional medical laboratory the world had ever seen. Tens of thousands of wounded soldiers, broken, bleeding, and still alive, arrived in makeshift field hospitals. For young surgeons, it was a tidal wave of trauma and a terrible opportunity. With 50 men on stretchers waiting for surgery, these battlefield doctors had no time for textbooks. They had patience, endless patience, and they experimented. They amputated, probed, stitched, drained, and documented. They failed. They learned. And they changed the very nature of surgery. By 1868, just 3 years after the war ended, the practice of surgery had evolved more in that short span than in the previous century. The war was brutal, but it forced us to see the human body not just as a weapon, but as a system we could study, heal, and maybe one day save. In the grand arc of history, war has always revealed the body, but it took modern medicine to understand what it was saying. On the track, it's also a war between the human body and physics. The racing industry has learned the hard way that humanity will never beat physics. Humans can only coexist with the forces of nature. Once physics is respected and precautions taken, then humans can play their game with speed and now live to tell about it.